It is a report that has Washington on pins and needles, especially President Donald Trump. It's that internal Inspector General report on how the FBI and the Justice Department handled the investigation into the Hillary Clinton email scandal. Sources believe it will come down hard on James Comey, the former FBI director. It will come down hard on Andrew McCabe and on the former AG, Loretta Lynch. This prospect has the president tweeting away. On Tuesday, the president tweeted this about this report. What is taking so long with the Inspector General's report on crooked Hillary and slippery James Comey? Numerous delays. Hope report is not being changed and made weaker. There are so many horrible things to tell. The public has the right to know. Transparency. And this morning, our Justice Department must not let Awan and Debbie Wasserman Schultz off the hook. The Democrat IT scandal is key to much of the corruption we see today. They want to make a plea deal to hide what is on their server. Where is server really bad? I'm sorry, it's hard sometimes to read the president's tweet in smooth sentences. But you get the gist, right? Conservative talk show host John Fredericks joins me now. He's also on the 2020 Donald Trump for President Advisory Report. So how excited are you to read this Inspector General report?
I'm not excited about it, Carol. I'm sick over it. And most Americans should be. This is no reason for celebration. It's really a reason to be concerned about what is going on in the Department of Justice of the United States. This IG report, it appears from some of the leaks that we've had that it is going to really condemn James Comey for first going on TV and putting his thumb on the scales of the election by exonerating Hillary Clinton in the email scandal, where he should never have gone on TV. The report should have come in. He should have turned it over to prosecutors.
Well, see, it's interesting because Democrats would think completely the opposite. Because, see, that's the problem with the report. We don't know exactly what's in it.
So we have to wait.
So we all get to paint the picture the way we want it before the report comes out, knowing that most people won't actually read it for themselves and try to decipher it. And I think that's kind of dangerous.
Well, that's, I mean, that's where you have the punditry today, and everybody's trying to pre-spin it. But look, James Comey was totally incompetent and weighed in on this in a way that is appalling. You even look at the second time that he made the report with the second batch of emails with Anthony Weiner, when he said publicly, look, I did this because I looked at the poll numbers, decided she was going to win, and I didn't want to tarnish her victory. I didn't want to be anything there that people might say that it's a flawed president.
Right. That's what the president and all of his supporters are saying. But again, we don't know exactly what's in the report. But I will say that it's working, because most Republicans right now are on the president's side. They think the Mueller investigation is not up to speed. You know, there's a new poll out from the Wall Street Journal and NBC that finds Mr. Trump's approval rating ticking up to 44%, which is pretty good when you compare him to presidents past, right?
Well, Carol, look, there's a lot of people that are starting to look at this witch hunt investigation as a complete scam and an effort by people in the Department of Justice and other positions that don't like this president, whose goal is to simply drive him out of office. And they've stated that. And look, we had the judge in Virginia looking at the Manafort case. He said the same thing.
Do you think that's Mr. Mueller's intent, to drive President Trump out of office?
I don't know what his intent is, but it's certainly not to investigate Russian collusion, because there's nothing there. 12 months in, $50 million,
we don't know that yet either,
he has no
because
evidence.
his report is not out yet either.
Well, wait for his report to come out, but he needs to wrap it up, Carol. And the reason why the president's approval numbers continue to go up is very simple. The economy is booming, and people don't want that to stop. They like his policies. You know, for the first time in history, in history of recording this, we have more job openings than people applying for jobs, which are driving additional Americans into the job market that had dropped out. The economy is doing fantastic. Tax cuts haven't even hit. So things are going great. People are looking at this and saying, what in the world are they doing to this man? And it's ridiculous. I mean, there's no evidence of any Russian collusion whatsoever. Here's the thing when you say, you know, it's taking Robert Mueller so long. If he doesn't carefully prepare this report and have every I dotted and every T crossed, he's in trouble. If I were Robert Mueller, I would take my time. I would like try not to feel the pressure on me to release something
prematurely, because that will bite him, right? And it is important for the country to find out if there was collusion, and it is important for the country to find out how much Russia interfered with our election in 2016. Those are like, I mean, don't you think those things are important? And shouldn't Robert Mueller be very careful?
They're two separate issues. I can tell you, if you look at the leaks that come out of the FBI to the Washington Post and other legacy media, if they had anything on this president or collusion, they would have leaked it. There's no leaks. There's leaks on everything else except that, because they don't exist.
Isn't that
Nothing
a good
exists.
thing? There's no leaks? Isn't that a good thing?
There's no leaks on the president being involved in any Russian collusion whatsoever. They leak everything else. They don't leak that because they have no evidence.
They don't leak everything else.
Sure they do.
There are very few leaks coming out of that Mueller investigation. Very few.
If they had one thing, they would leak it out, trust me, in order to control the narrative. I mean, this thing is such a disaster for the presidency and the American people because there is nothing there. $50 million, 12 months. They have no evidence of any collusion whatsoever. They have absolutely nothing.
There have been indictments.
Indictments that have nothing to do.
Now you have Paul Manafort, a former campaign manager of the president, trying to, like, influence witnesses in his upcoming trial.
Paul Manafort is a creep and a bad guy, and so whatever happens to him happens to him. That had nothing to do with colluding during the campaign. Trump fired him, right? As soon as this Ukrainian stuff came out, he was being investigated for stuff that had nothing to do with President Trump or the Trump campaign at any time. They were investigating him for other stuff. He's got to answer to that. And the bottom line is, as soon as the president found out about what Manafort was up to, he fired him.
I could bring up Don Jr. and I could bring up the memo and all of that, but I won't, because I think there are many, many questions to be answered, and I'm curious to see what Robert Mueller's report, without, you know, thinking what it already means when it's not out there yet. But
Carol, based on everything that you've seen so far, do you really think that President Trump or anybody in his campaign colluded with the Russian government in order to get money or get something else in order to win the election? Because that's really what the argument is. Did they collude with the Russian government to win the election? There's no evidence to that.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. That's why the Mueller investigation's ongoing. So I'm going to have to wait and see.
They're going to keep doing it.
I don't make up my mind before I see evidence. That's just not me as a journalist.
There's no evidence.
I don't know what Mr. Mueller has yet. So I don't know that.
That's my point, Carol. If he had something, they would have leaked it out so this thing can keep going and they can keep spending $1 million a week.
We're going to have to leave it there. John Fredericks, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.